All right. Get people a little minute to get on in. Hey, y'all, come on in. Y'all know I don't like to do a lot of come on ins, but y'all know I always start off with it's Monday. I get it. Y'all just now getting home. If you in Nashville, Tennessee, I know it's been raining. So, you probably got caught in traffic. I'm just going to give you a little minute. But y'all know how we do over here at the I Am Qiana Skills podcast. Ooh, everything is a song with me, baby.
Hey, I like it.
In my head, I think I'm Shantae Moore with all the octaves or Mariah Carey, baby.
Okay, Shantae's got a man.
Shantae's got a man at home. See, I love when people with my shenanigans. And he's so good to me. Sorry if, how she did that. Your man ain't home.
Right, sorry if your man ain't.
Yeah, we just clowning around. Oh, I know y'all probably like, who is that made it to the blue velvet couch? Well, you gonna find out in a minute. Some of y'all probably know us, some of you don't. Some of y'all probably don't know me. I probably just popped up. But stay tuned, stay with us, baby, because it is going down. Yes. Tonight. This is gonna be something different than you're usually seeing from the I Am Qiana Skills podcast.
Absolutely.
Yes, we're tackling a good topic. And I can't wait. I cannot wait, baby, to introduce my guest. You're in for a treat. Y'all are in for a treat. But we're going to go and get started in just a second. You good?
I'm good.
Okay,
I'm good. I want to say what's up to the people. What's up, Tennessee?
Okay.
Tennessee, Nashville, all of Middle Tennessee. I know we got some of the small towns. Excuse me. That accent get heavy. Ooh. Sometimes you just can't flow with it when you lie.
Baby, it's some money, so I'm not telling not tell people over here. I'm educated, but sometimes I make up words because, like I tell them, who said Webster was right? Why come it can't be Qiana's way?
Hey.
So hey, whatever I say, that's what the word is. Y'all know what I meant.
As long as
it is what it is.
That's right. Welcome to the country.
They understand.
Welcome to the country.
Say that again. Welcome to the country.
That's right.
Y'all know what I mean when I make up words, and y'all be like, y'all knew what that meant. It'd be funny because I'd be like, did I say that? But I just keep on going. I'd be like, oh, I know I said that word wrong. But I'd be like, I know how to say it.
I said it right in my mind.
I said it right in my mind, but I be talking. See, what be happening is I be talking and my brain be moving faster than my mouth. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is. All right, let's go on and get this podcast popping. What's popping, listener land? Come through and catch these gems. Hit the heart if you ready. Can we see some hearts, some hand, whatever you need to do to let us know you are ready for this live.
Let's go.
Whether you're tuning in live on Facebook, YouTube Live, TikTok Live, or even streaming the replay, welcome to the space where truth meets transformation.
Okay, then.
TikTok family. Remember that after the show, we've got something exclusively for you, the TikTok Talk Back after show. So be sure to stay on the live so we can answer all of your questions, your concerns, your comments, and whatever you have for our guests. So remember that TikTok live talk. We got you after the show.
I like it. It's the after party.
Yes, that's what it is. The after the show, it's the after party. And after the
we can't sing. We can't.
No,
it's still
yeah. And we not going to. That was a hit though.
It was. It's a damn shame what they.
Yeah, I was just like, it is what it is. Ooh, I was gonna go there too, baby.
You know how
I was on it, baby. So y'all, welcome to the I Am Qiana Skills podcast. Real talk, real people, relevant conversations. No gossip, just gems. And y'all know my new tagline, stamp it. And for those of you that don't know what that means it's signed, sealed, and delivered by Miss Qiana Skills. Yes, they better stamp it. See the young people say, what's that? That clock it? No, baby, I'm stamping it.
We stamping it.
We are stamping
Is that a 40 plus?
If that's what we want to make it, I just knew for me, I ain't clocking nothing. I'm stamping it. It's one of them. I said what I said.
Okay.
That's what it is. And if they agreeing, so if I said what I said, then they can type stamp it in the chat. They can do whatever. Give me some thumbs up, hearts, whatever you need to do, because that's what's up. So y'all know what it is. Now, before we get into it, shout out to today's sponsor, baby, the Closet Experience Boutique. Ladies, are you looking for the hottest fashions and accessories? Look no further. The Closet Experience Boutique has you covered, and they're giving you 10% off with code PODCAST. That's PODCAST at theclosetexperience.com. What's in your closet? Now, I got to put this disclaimer out there. In tonight's live, y'all, we will be discussing how we can all promote safety, accountability, and responsible behavior. The focus is purely on learning and self-improvement. The content of this live video titled Police Yourself, trust and believe it is not political and it does not promote violence. This video does not display any firearms, weapons, or any harmful behavior. The primary goal is to provide safety awareness education, educational content, and promote personal accountability. The information shared aims to encourage responsible actions and informed decision-making in a constructive, non-violent manner. Amen, amen, and amen. Stamp it. Look, don't come for me, social media. I gave y'all a disclaimer.
Hey,
so I don't need none of that. We ain't doing that over here. Strictly education purposes.
That's right. The more you know.
Yes. So let's get into it.
Let's go.
Gun violence is tearing through our neighborhoods like a thief in the night, taking kids, fathers, mothers, and leaving families stuck planning candlelight vigils instead of birthday parties. What a shame. We're tired of hashtags and RIP t-shirts. Tonight, we're calling it out, breaking it down. No fluff, no politics, just truth. We are talking about the hard stuff, why our communities keep bleeding, what accountability looks like in our own homes, how to lock up weapons before they become headlines, and the conversation we need to have with our kids right now. This isn't about glorifying the trigger. It's about stopping it before it's ever pulled. Y'all, it's going to get deep, but it's educational. Right. If you're ready to swap silence for solutions and fear for safety, stay locked in. This is Police Yourself, where saving lives starts with us in our own communities.
It does. Stamp it.
Oh, I like you. You know, see.
I'm
look.
Here for
oh,
it.
yeah.
I'm here for
I
it.
love it when they here for that. Stamp it, baby. And that's what I encourage you all to do. This is we all family, no judgment zone. That's you got a comment, you want to stamp it, do whatever you do. And we will be checking our chats and we will be having a conversation with you in the chat. So feel free.
Absolutely.
Who y'all? All right, y'all. I need everybody tuned in and tapped in because the guest I'm about to bring to the mic is a whole force of nature. She was raised on the east side of Tacoma, Washington, back when the headlines was full of unsolved murders, kidnappings, and gang banging. Even the hunt for a serial killer. Say what? Oh, baby. While most kids were playing tag in the park, she was already mastering situational awareness because survival wasn't optional. It was mandatory.
That's right.
Life threw her battles that could have broken her, but instead, they woke up the superwoman inside. In 2016, she stepped into self-defense training for her own safety, discovered her power, and then turned around and said, every woman deserves to feel this power too. Girl, I feel you. That's when she founded Surreal Self-Defense. And let me tell you, this ain't just about throwing punches or pulling triggers. It's about unlocking what's already inside, the instinct, the awareness, the will to survive and to thrive.
Oh, man.
She trains women to protect themselves anytime, any place, against any threat. Ooh, and I do mean any threat. So, and always within the law. Y'all better stamp that within the law. Within the law,
baby.
Ooh, I want you to thank Pam Grill meets Harriet Tubman, baby. Fierce, fearless, and out here making sure our sisters can walk this world unafraid. She's a certified firearm safety expert, a situational awareness strategist, a community protector, and a powerful voice reminding us self-defense is not violence, it's survival, self-worth, and liberation. But wait, we're just getting started with this intro, baby. She's also one of the hosts of Bullets, Bread, and Bars podcast, where they are breaking down the social, economic challenges within the Black community and how weapons, laws, money, education, and music all play a role. It's not just talk. This panel is dropping bars and freestyles over hot beats, challenging listeners to think critically, question the systems, and rewrite the narrative. Ooh, baby. Okay. And on top of all of that, she's part of the Middle Tennessee Black Gun Club. Absolutely. Y'all see her repping the shirt? Absolutely. A movement rooted in honor, respect, loyalty, love, community. Their mission, preserving life through our Second Amendment's rights. They are creating a safe space for Black Middle Tennesseans to learn, train, and grow, building a foundation of knowledge, safety, and skills to protect families and communities. Absolutely. Y'all, she's not just out here training bodies. She's arming minds, raising awareness, and building a legacy. She's showing up, speaking out, and standing strong in a world that's constantly trying to knock us down. Y'all make some serious noise for the founder of Surreal Self-Defense, co-host of Bullets, Bread, and Bars, and a proud member of Tennessee Black Gun Club, the Unstoppable. Keep them hand claps coming in those, out there in those chats. Like I said, she's the unstoppable, the unapologetic, the undeniable Tania Chantrell. Some of you may know her as Madam President, baby. Y'all keep them hands going. Hey, girl, hey.
What's up? Ooh, I mean,
dang. Yes.
Come on, Qiana. I'm like, who is this chick she's talking about?
You, girl. That's you. All them accolades and you. But I said, ooh, baby, when I thought of you, I thought of, I don't know why, Harriet Tubman, though, and Pam Grier came to me. It was just something about that. Absolutely. So I had to give it to the people like it.
Yeah.
Y'all know how my brain be doing. It just do what it want to do. I tell people, if my brain do what it want to do, just go with the flow, baby. Just go with the flow. Just go with it, baby. Are you ready to help the people?
I'm ready. Let's
chat. All right, let's chat.
Let's stamp it.
Yes, I'm ready to stamp it. So many people talk about gun violence and self-defense like it's just a statistic. Mm-hmm. But you've lived through the reality of growing up where survival wasn't optional.
Right.
I got to ask you this. What's the hardest truth about being unprepared, and how did that push you to create Surreal Self-Defense?
Ooh,
loaded question.
Right. Great question.
I be coming out the gate swinging, baby.
Yeah, being unprepared is one of the most dangerous things you could do in life. Mentally, we have to start there. So how do you wake up in the morning? You know, how do you even get yourself going? What's the vibe that you're putting out, right? Because when you walk out the door, we call that like conflict resolution, de-escalation. You have an opportunity to change the vibe all the time. So not even being prepared, you know, mentally, emotionally, you know what I mean? That's a huge one, because that's what gets us in trouble, when we do not regulate our emotions, when we react, you know, emotionally,
especially out of fear.
And fear, right? And those are the things that will push us to make a lot of bad decisions, and then we have to try to backtrack to correct it. But when things are happening in real time, so again, that being unprepared, you got to think on the fly. You're always gonna perform to your lowest level of training. So if you have no training and you don't even think about, you know, what would I do if this? Well, you know, I'm a worst case scenario type chick. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Sound like started. Right. The aliens have attacked is how I start my day. Okay, I walk out here and the aliens have attacked. Where do we go from there?
Don't tell me we sisters in the brain. You think like I think.
Right. So if I've already defeated the alien attack before I walk out the door, you think I can't handle the little punk that done brushed me, bumped into me, you know, on the street? Yes. He can have a nice day. You know what I mean? I was like, brother, I know you did. Excuse you. I used to be her. Excuse you. Now what? I've escalated. Instead of de-escalate, I just be like, oh, my bad, brother. I didn't mean to bump into you today. And you know why? Because when you carrying a gun, everything's your fault. You are the peacemaker. Everything is your fault. If you bump into me, my bad.
That makes sense.
If you say something crazy to me, have a nice day. You know. So I'm always trying to keep the peace because I got that peace on me. You know what I mean?
Trying to keep the peace because I got that
peace on me.
She slick try to throw that in there, yeah.
Yeah. So again, preparation is key. That's one of the first safest things you can do. And starting your morning off good with some affirmations, some meditation, some prayer. You know, however you do that, check yourself.
So before you got to that point, though, what happened? Like to make you like, what situation happened that made you be like, oh, I wasn't prepared for this. I gotta now get into self-defense class.
Mine wasn't really I gotta get into self-defense class. Like I said, growing up on the east side of Tacoma back in the gang banging days of the 80s, the early 90s, and then moving to the south where racism is right in your face. So those were just things that I've always just had my head on a swivel. I was raised by two military parents. So
okay,
you know,
so you
I was born on a military base. So I came out already ready.
Ready.
So really the culture I've come up in, not being prepared, that was never an option. So if you think being unprepared is an option, you got to start right there. Like it's never an option. Either you're a target or you're not. You know what I mean? Either you're going to be a victim or you're going to be a victor. Like you get to choose that every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what's going to keep you from being unprepared. So, you know, walking to school, I had to walk to school. I took public transportation, so city buses at a young age. And like I said, there was a lot of gangbanging. And I'm cute now. I was cute then. Like cute ain't new for me. So, you know, so you walking in this literally car full of young men. We calling them YNs now. Back then they was gangbangers, you know, and they trying to holler at you. And shoot, I'm just walking. I'm keeping walking. You know, I'm just walking, minding my business, but also not trying to take a young man's integrity away. So you can still be polite. A gentleman had to tell me that, like, you know, it's a polite way to do things. Nowadays they don't respect the polite. You know, so you know you gotta get just as buck. I know it's a little, but sometimes you gotta be ready to meet force with force. You know what I mean? But we'll get into that later. But yeah, so. Man, I will tell anybody, you got to start up here.
Because, you can't let fear, because I was going to say, at that young age you're walking, you were fearless at that point, because I tell people, fear points out the danger, but your response is what decides your power.
Exactly.
Because sometimes we don't think about that.
Right.
You got to be in that mental state. Like if you ride around here in fear, you're taking away your power.
Right. And being in your own community. Now, I will say this, and it might sound crazy, but growing up in that era, so you did have gangbangers. So you had the ones that were in the community. So, you know, you were more comfortable with. And so, but as a community, you knew when somebody who wasn't supposed to be there was there. And you knew what type of violence or, you know, responses could come from this. So again, now you have a decision. Do you go be nosy? Do you run to where the problem is? Or do you take your butt home, mind your business, get to a safe space, right? So again, that was a personal decision. You can go be in the riffraff, and unfortunately, and social media really tells on us, a lot of people, especially our young
pulling
people,
the phones out and recording, go to a safe spot.
Yeah, you ready to be. One thing every day I say, I don't want to be a witness because I don't want to go to court under any circumstances. So,
and you're not. Excuse me. Let me talk to the people real quick.
Talk to the people.
You are not CNN. You are not CBS. You are not NBC, Fox News, MSNBC, whatever it is. Right. You are none of them. I'm gonna need y'all to go find you a safe space and leave that to the pros.
Right.
And when I say the pros, I'm talking about the police. I'm talking about the news anchors that are meant to be out there to cover the story. They know what they're doing. You not.
They get a check for it.
What you doing it for? Even if you are, nowadays I gotta address this, even if you're a content creator, get yourself somewhere and sit down. Everything ain't for social media.
Right. And you have to have a plan. So if you are gonna be out there, all I'm saying is have a strategy. Like so you don't find yourself trying to figure it out in the moment.
Yep.
So critical thinking skills, that's something we got to get back to, that within, we can't rely on the schools, but challenging people's thinking, asking why would you make this move. We do scenario training, we'll put videos up and then break it down, and what did they do right, what did they do wrong, what could they have done better. Because now if you're already thinking about these things, if it's ever your turn, you already have options. Because remember, I said you're going to downplay to your lowest level of training. So the less you think about it, the less options you're going to have. The more you think about it, again, not rooted in fear, rooted in strategy, rooted in self-preservation is the number one thing. Your body does that without you telling it to. When you go to sleep at night, it keeps itself alive. When we walk out around here, it keeps itself alive. Now, you have to do your part to keep yourself alive too, so you have to use your brain, which is your biggest weapon. Before the guns, before even having hands or anything, you can outthink the next person. Can you outthink a bad situation to get to a safe space? Like, that's the key. Always know where to safe space.
So what is your background and experience in firearms training?
So 2019-ish, right before COVID happened, and right before WIG, took over the administration. There was, I live in a rural area, and they were big time supporters of WIG. And to the point, like, I literally live in the boonies, and the neighbor who's not close like this, he far enough, but he close enough to be dumb. And he was like a super fan.
Oh, wow.
Right? Yeah, WIG. Like, he was building a wall and everything. He was like auditioning, I guess. I don't know, right?
Oh, wow.
So that's why mental health is important, y'all. But I'm going to say this. If you got problems and you ain't seeing a therapist and you bring them problems to my side of the yard, I don't care about none of that. Because we about being safe over here by any means necessary. So I was doing some training, like physical training for like kickboxing and stuff like that. And in my mind, I thought I'd be able to beat dude up if he ever came at me wrong. Like, he started doing wild stuff, just like yelling crazy things and across the yard, just, just randomness. And then one of my guy friends brought me back to reality. He was like, look, I don't care how much you train, like, dude big, like, if he was to ever, get you on the ground or whatever, like, you're at a disadvantage. You're a woman, he's a man stronger than you. And so he took me to the gun range for the first time, and he laid out pistols, shotguns, right? I shot everything that day, and so he like, this how you would probably need to deal with that problem if it came to, y'all going at it. Because we was like, and he talk shit, I talk shit. Oh, can I cuss? I'm sorry. My bad, y'all. I won't cuss no more.
You good.
I'm a recovering cusser.
Recovering cusser. Come on now.
I haven't really started my 12-step process yet, but I'm trying to get the first step is it.
It admitted it. You started. So tonight she started. She did the first step. I'm going to hold her accountable. Y'all know I hold people accountable over here. So.
Yes. So I got into the guns. He took me out there to let me see what was comfortable for me, what I like, what made sense for, where I live. So we really went into it. It wasn't just he handed me a loaded gun and that's what most people know. He took me through the process, showed me what different ones feel like, all of that. So being a Black woman, and then I took it further after that. He bought me a gun, and so then we would go and train, but I always kept it in the box. The box that came in, if I wasn't around him, when he put it back in that box, we lead around, slide it under my bed, and pray about it. Like, Lord, please don't have to let me use this yet, because I'm just not comfortable. Like, if something was to happen, I wasn't going to go for the gun, because I wasn't comfortable. But what I didn't understand was I was putting myself at a high risk of being held at gunpoint with my own gun by having a gun just loose in a box under my bed. And if the right person gets to that, they know what to do with it. Somebody breaks into your house and now you've given them access to guns. And now instead of just stealing your stuff, now they want your cookies. And I don't mean cookies you buy from the grocery store, right? And ain't nobody getting
I know where you was going.
Right. So, so now I'm really thinking this thing through. Like, I need to have more understanding about this weapon and, how to be safe with it, responsible, not shoot myself accidentally, my children, or anybody else, but be prepared. So I just started diving into it, And then I took my journey, and I was like, I know Black women because I
Mm-hmm.
am one, and I hang out with y'all. And I was like, I need to teach the sisters, like I need to give them a step by step.
Mm.
This is how you be safe with it. This is how you responsible. This is how you use it. This is how you choose one.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you figure out what's best for you. These are the laws, so we don't go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, we got to get that mind right. We got to get our emotions in check before we walk around with deadly force, is what they call it, on us. Because a lot of women would, especially, I train the sisters, they come in class and they just think, like, somebody break into my house, woo, woo. They think that's just free range and go on fire somebody up. And you got to understand how this stuff works, especially, and I'm going to go on and say it, especially when you're Black.
Yeah.
Especially when you're Black.
I always say we play by a different set of rules.
We know this.
I just said we.
Yes,
I mean, I hate that I even have to say that, but it is what it is.
The Constitution tells us that it is what it is, because that's why they have amendments and add-ons and stuff like that, because it was never meant for us to begin with. So I don't even get caught up in that, because at any time they'll switch the rules up.
So speaking of that, we spend so much time pointing fingers at the system, at government, at the police. But what about us? Let's start with us. What about the choices we make in our own homes, in our own blocks? How do we police ourselves first when it comes to the violence, the weapons, and all of that good stuff?
It runs deep, because poverty is a huge issue that causes a lot of those things. So again, racism, I'm always taking it back to the root, is a huge problem that causes us to start living in inhumane ways, because we've been treated inhumanely, right? So we've adopted some of those practices within our own community because we're hurt. We haven't healed. You know what I mean? Like, a lot has been done to us as Black people over the years, before we were even
passed
born.
Down from generation to
and
generation.
There is trauma.
And then I'm just learning that some of us are just now starting to break those chains and those generational curses.
Yes.
And that's a lot of bondage that we've been in.
Yes, there's a lot of trauma, and then it spills over to even how do I protect myself. So a lot of people shy away from firearms, and I don't know which generation started. I'm gonna blame the boomers. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but they started because we did have the gun violence, the rise and gang violence. So you had a lot of mothers and families that's like, we don't want no guns around here. I don't even want my kids playing with toy guns. Like, we was shunning the gun. We didn't want nothing to do with the gun, which has set us light years behind our enemy, our oppressor, the cousins that don't like us a lot of the times, because they're training their families up at a young age, how to protect their family, how to hunt, how to be safe with it, how to be comfortable with it. And we were pushing away from it and shying away from it. And a lot of it is because of the trauma and because of the law.
Yeah, I was just going to say because of the laws and because we're trying to protect our loved ones or even ourselves from being a victim of police brutality in that manner. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, you get pulled over and now you have a gun in your car legally, but it heightens the situation
because they can
now
say that
the police is
right.
Even we already know Castillo in Minneapolis, and I'm sorry I didn't have the name right just off the top of my head, but he followed every absolute order. He was a carry permit holder, doing what the police told him, and still was murdered and didn't even have a gun in his hand. Was just trying to get his stuff out his wallet like he was told to do. So there's that. So when you add fear, even though it's okay, it's lawful for me to have this weapon, this tool, we'll call it. I'm within my rights, all of those good things. It doesn't stop the person in front of you from saying they're fearing for their life, especially when they know you have that tool on you.
So what does personal accountability for safety looks like? What should that look like?
Let me tell you, like I said, training. Understand if you're gonna. So let me holler at the fellas real quick. Y'all bringing in real close.
Come on, fellas. Come on close.
Listen, I'm gonna try to speak up a little bit because y'all the number one whether you're in the father role, grandfather role, uncle, boyfriend, cousin, big brother, who has that female in their life that they want to be extra protected because they're not around or whatever, and you go buy a gun for them and you give it to them, and that's all you do. You don't take them to train. You don't show them how to use it. You don't teach them how to be safe with it. And a lot of times the guns, you load them and all this goofy stuff. One of the most dangerous tools available to us. And you just give this as a gift or give somebody a gun that you had, and you don't teach them what to do with it. You don't teach them how to be safe with it. If you go buy one, then you've already taken some of their power away in choosing what's the best gun for them. Some of these guns, even as an experienced shooter, there's just certain things, and I'm gonna say, I'm talking black to y'all, I'm not gonna get technical, but it's like a certain grip. It feel like sandpaper. Who wants that? I mean, I know for guys and they give me their reasons, but as a woman, I'm like, that's like all rough on my hands. So if I have a bad experience, and even if you do take them to the range or something, and they have a bad experience with this gun because you done got a 40 cal, something that the recoil is stupid and it scares them, or they're not comfortable, guess what they're not going to do? They're not going to train. They're not going to shoot that gun. They're not going to carry it. It's just not for them. So it's a great gesture to want to protect, a loved one by way of a gun, a firearm as a tool. But then you gotta be responsible and teach them how to be responsible, and that's gonna cost you money.
And I'm gonna piggyback and say, I don't care what excuses people give, reckless choices with the weapons and that safety. I don't care what excuses you give. It's gonna always cost our communities, and if we're gonna pay the ultimate price in our communities and our families, like you said, you just giving somebody something. You wouldn't give it any thought, but I'm gonna get this for my girl. But you didn't think beyond that gift. Okay, I like the gesture. Yeah, it was a good gesture. I don't know if good was probably good, but I mean, I guess the thought of it. But let's dig a little deeper. That's why we're having this conversation. That's why I have Miss Madam President here.
Hey, and like I said, what I said in the beginning, it starts thinking this thing through. We gotta go, like I said, beyond the weapon itself. We gotta get to the education. We gotta get to the understanding. Because we gotta stay free. You don't. So many people go to jail behind a gun and they haven't even shot anybody or pointed. They're just handling it improper. They're brandishing. Things like that. You're not carrying it proper. So when you are reaching and moving, your gun is showing, and now somebody feels not comfortable, even though it's legal for you to have it. All it takes is a phone call to the police. I'm in Walmart, because that happened. A brother was killed in Walmart. He was looking at BB guns or something. The Walmart sales. One of the cousins that don't like us called the police. Police came in there and killed them.
Oh, wow.
Right. So it's like you got to think outside of you. That's why the open carry, people have that conversation, open carry versus concealed carry. Why you want everybody to know you got a gun on
right
you? Why?
Everybody don't need to know that.
Exact self-account again. So in all that boasting being online, yes, you'll see me online with guns because this is what I do. I teach people. I don't want to be online with guns showing how good I shoot.
It's for educational purposes only.
Right. And it's like,
and to bring awareness.
And we got to get past the hype because that's been the thing, the image that comes with that. So our black men with guns, the gangster rap and things like that, I was definitely of that era. We pushed it so hard and allowed to be pushed on us that now when people see black folks with guns, especially black men, they just feel some kind of way more of a threat than this person is just protecting themselves.
Yeah, because we as individuals, like I said, in a community, we must still be intentional. That I keep bringing that word up. I need y'all to understand why I keep saying we must be intentional, because our choices dictate our next level in life. I'm going to have to say that again. Intentional, because our choices dictate our next level in life. Everything sound like you said. It sounded good. We was in that NWA era. I know what you're talking about. I get it. Been there, done it.
Right.
But we got to start thinking. We got to be careful who we're hanging with, how we handle conflict, how we store and respect our weapons, and even how we teach our kids to appreciate life. When are we going to start teaching our kids to appreciate life? Not just our kids, just everybody. When are we going to start valuing a life? I still listen to rap. I get it. But y'all, let me think. My mind done went somewhere else. Lord, this I can't even think of the song, but it's oh my God, is his name Pooh Shiesty? Pooh Shiesty, whoever y'all. I ain't from that generation, but it's a song that has it says I'm Pooh Shiesty and I'm really shiesty. What song is that?
Get it back in blood.
Yeah, I just gotta say this. I heard that song, Get It Back in Blood, and I said, what? Y'all, if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, I need y'all to listen to that. That's some
stuff to think about.
Yeah, I mean, it's just when you hear it, it's like he really wrote this song, Get It Back in Blood.
Now
I'm just saying with the violence that we instilling in our kids.
And we're Generation X definitely did a horrible job.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm not blaming, but I'm just saying when I heard that song, it was like, oh wow.
So go back to how I said how we start our day off. So think about it, because I done rolled the work, you could never ever get on my level.
Oh, hey, get on my level. What I'm saying.
Like,
I was with you with that era.
But I was also bumping some Project Pat,
And then we had but then we was also saying, look, if you but we was I'm telling you, I'm not getting on them. I'm just saying we gotta start being more responsible.
What kind of mood it puts you in when you so if we on some Get It Back at Blood, as soon as we walk out the door and hit these streets, then that's where we at.
Our mindset.
That's where our mindset is. So it again, that self-accountability.
It's about
decision, being intentional.
Yep. That's why I say I'm gonna keep throwing that word up. Because it's about making decisions every day that protect our communities and not endangering them. We gotta start thinking about that.
You gotta do your part.
So if you were talking about earlier keeping a firearm in the home, so you talked about leaving it unattended up under your bed. Why is that never? Now, like some people think, oh, that was a good option, what you did. And of course, you obviously thought it was a good idea at the beginning. So tell the people why that's not a good idea.
Well, first of all, if we really think about it, when you just said, you thought that was a good option, why do we hide stuff under the bed like that's not the first place
somebody gonna look?
I'm just sitting here like, how dumb was I really?
You just didn't know anything.
I just slid it and because in
our
it
comes
mind,
natural. That's what it was out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. And we think people respect our space like our kids are nosy. So case in point, and you will do the time your kid get a hold of your gun and it wasn't locked up in all that Child Safety Act. Y'all need to look that up. You will be held accountable. You will go to jail on behalf of your kids, your children's actions with you not being responsible with your firearm and locking it up. Teaching your children, taking them to a class so they learn how to be safe. And you can start off just with toy guns, water guns, things like that. It doesn't have to be the real gun, your level of comfort. But if you're going to have a firearm in your home, everybody in that home needs to understand firearm safety. Everybody in that home needs to understand the consequences that can come with a negligent discharge or, what we like to call an accident. But again, the court's going to call it negligence, right? That's different.
That's deep.
Right. That's heavier.
Yep,
right.
I was just going to say that's heavier.
And negligence means you had the opportunity to know better and to do better, and you chose not to. We also call that ignorance. And what do they say about ignorance of the law? They ain't trying to hear that.
Nope.
It's not going to stand up in court.
Nope, it's not. So y'all listen, how many times have we seen those headlines like this? The ones that say kids as young as, let's say 6 are finding a firearm in their home and tragically hurting themselves, their siblings, or someone else. Too many times, and every time people shake their heads. Because, when we see it, what we do, we shaking our heads like, here we go again. But we look at that as that's somebody else's problem. I'm here to say, y'all, even though that happened in somebody else's house, that didn't happen in the Scales household. Right. Thank God. Thank goodness. But I say that to say that's still my responsibility.
Absolutely.
And the reason why I say that, because we are a community.
Absolutely.
So we all need to be making sure that it does not happen again.
Absolutely.
Because somebody was, like you were saying, irresponsible, reckless,
Exactly.
all of that good
Negligent.
stuff. And talk about it'll be fine. And I hate to keep throwing you under the bus, but you know how you was just thinking, oh, it'll be no, it won't be fine. Because I heard you say, I don't know at what point that guns in the house and your kids was there. Did you have kids still living at the home?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They could have been looking for something. I'm just being honest. They could have been looking for something in your room, went under the bed and was like, oh, let me see what's in this box. Oh, I don't know their ages. I'm just going to throw this as a scenario. But what if they got into that box and just thought it was a play gun?
Right.
Or a play weapon? So, you get what I'm saying? That could have been tragic. Tonight, child, I'm painting these pictures because I don't want to see this happen anymore. We've seen it.
Right.
Countless times.
Yeah.
So I want us to have this conversation and make your mind. I just want your mind to start thinking if you do have a weapon in the home. It doesn't even have to be a firearm. It could be a sword. It could be a knife. At this point, it could be a pair of scissors. Just make sure you're putting stuff up. And when I say a pair of scissors, I'm talking about you may have a toddler. Anything could happen. Let's be mindful of the objects and the things we leave laying around that we are not putting up.
Right.
That is important. So what's one story you've seen where somebody or heard where they say, oh, it'll be fine. And it turns into a nightmare because their level of thinking. They was like, oh no, I'm gonna be fine. I can do this. Oh, I don't need training. I can do, but it backfired on them. Have you ever experienced that from one of your clients?
I've had people to come to class and talk about the first day they bought their firearm and had a situation.
Oh wow.
Like that, or they left class and had a situation. So I don't have like a specific story per se, but I will say because people shared that with me, we like to tailor our classes like, so if they leave here today and there was a situation, would they be confident enough to handle their business? Or and even if it's not pulling the gun out, but again, situational awareness, conflict avoidance, de-escalation. These are skills we talk about. Again, how can you think your way out of this? I always tell ladies, so one of the ladies that did talk about that, and her gun though wasn't on her. So we'll talk about having your gun in your purse and off your person and how that puts you in a situation because now you don't have access, right? Excuse me. And so a lady was talking about how she was at a gas station, she was pumping the gas and the gun, and she was new to it, but it was like in the car, just off in probably the box or whatever. And so she ended up talking her way through it and kind of getting other people's attention. But I was like, well, the whole time you were standing there, baby girl, you had the gas pump. I'm spraying
the gas. That's what I mean. So you think like I think, baby, we gonna get burnt. I'm gonna burn up. You gonna burn up. We gonna be burned together, baby.
Right. So it's like things like that. We call that environmental weapons. So again, you got to be thinking, what is around you? What do you have?
Baby, let me have an ink pen in this pocket. You coming to, baby, them ass, baby. I think quick on my feet. Don't come up here with that. And the only way you gonna, and you just happened to catch me some kind of way from behind and I was blindsided. But baby, let me have some.
You know what? And now that we've been talking, let me.
Baby, this earring. Why I see you creeping up over there, baby? Don't look. I can't even get the earring out. Look,
loud.
Oh, it's got two hooks on the side. But baby, I'm already thinking. It's in my hand. Like you see how quick I am with it, baby. I'm already know I'm finna just scratch you from your eyeball down, baby. Don't play.
You got fingernails. You got teeth. You got toes.
You've got to protect
you. You got to think on your feet. And if the windmill is your lowest level of training,
baby,
then
windmill it, baby.
Windmill to the game,
baby. Windmill
be a windmill champion.
Look, you better win. Look,
right.
That ain't the windmill. I can't fully extend my hand because I didn't want to hit you, but yeah, my little windmill didn't look like a windmill, but I didn't want to turn that way and hit her. But y'all know. Yeah,
but I will say, so you made me think. Now I've thought about a situation where I was unprepared, and had a gun on me. So saying that, so I had it in my purse, right? I'm in Atlanta. Usually before I even get in the car to go to Atlanta, it's sad. Memphis, same way. I got my waistband holster on, my gun loaded. That thing one in the head. We ready. So anytime I'm jumping out the car, I'm on one. I'm on what you on. You know what I mean? Because we know it's rough out here in some of the streets. So I'm in Atlanta. I get to my destination. I'm with my homeboy. He driving. I know he carry a gun, so I'm relaxed, right?
Mhm.
So I'm in the passenger side. My gun is in my little purse, whatever. My purse is not even on me. It's sitting on the floor. He runs out to go in the gas station. I'm just assuming he locked the doors. And what am I doing? Rule number, I'm breaking
on your
the first
phone, not
rule.
paying attention.
I got a gun on me and I'm in cyber world. I'm not even in the real world. So that's rule number. You never break that rule. You got a gun on you, you ain't got time to be scrolling on nothing. I should have been paying attention, because if I got a gun on me, I'm already telling myself I'm not in a safe situation. So why am I scrolling on my phone? But I was, right? So I'm scrolling on my phone, and then the door just opens. I'm assuming it's my homeboy.
Look up.
It's somebody, and he's like, his fan, he's like, hey, what's up? He just talking to me, and I'm like, so you gonna fight? You gonna freeze? Are you gonna fight, flight, or freeze, right? But I'm freezing because I'm like, the first thing hit my mind was like, oh shit, my gun is, even if it was here, I would have already been. But right now I'm in a situation that I got to talk myself out of this. So he talking to me, but I'm on some, I don't play. I'm like, hey man, you need to get the fuck out the car. I'm like, he's like, no, son, and I'm not understanding what's going on. But as I'm trying to tell him to go on, I'm thinking, how am I gonna get to my gun? You know what I mean? Like I'm really thinking like, okay, I'm gonna have to do this. Like, what am I gonna have to do? So I'm talking my stuff to try to get him to back out, but I'm also thinking, how am I gonna handle this situation? And the gun, it became not an option. There was no way to get to it without, if I do all this, that's gonna give him
to get it right.
Chance to get at me. You know, I now thinking hindsight, I could have got out the car, was what I should have did. It was really the easy answer, if you think about it, was just, hey, he came in, I could have got out. But you, in that time, I'm so dependent on my gun.
That adrenaline is flowing too, and
you just like, so that's
what's
what
going
saying,
on, like, and you're in shock.
Because
like,
exactly,
wait, this is not what I'm thinking. Yeah.
So then finally, I just made it seem like I had a gun on me. You know, like on my person. So I did my hand like, and I was like, hey man, if you don't back up out of here, I'm finna. And he was like, well, calm down, chill out. And I was like, nah, you need to, you know, so
right.
Again, I talked myself
space.
Right, but I didn't have a gun, but I just gestured like I did, and he believed it. But kind of find out, my homeboy was like somebody he knew, and he told him like on some set him up stuff, not thinking this girl might pull a gun on this cat.
Oh goodness!
Like, yeah, go in there and try to holler at some goofy stuff. So again, quit being goofy.
Right, because he could have got somebody.
Could have got somebody killed.
Oh,
like,
let's talk about that.
So
these pranks that these kids or grown-ups are doing. Y'all stop them pranks too.
Yes.
And I understand y'all doing it for social media so it can look real, but I've seen that on the news where they have went left and people have.
Yes. Because if I thanked God after when I found out what was going on that my gun was not on me, because it would have been on him. I don't know if because it happens so fast, and I don't know if we getting carjacked or you know what I mean.
You
like
don't know what's
going on.
I'm gonna talk to the chat real quick. How many people out there actually check your weapons and make sure that they are stored safely every day? Let's be honest. This is no judgment zone. This is just to see what your mindset is. And it's okay if you don't. Life gets hectic, gets busy. But tell me how often you check to make sure that your firearm is put up safe. Because some people don't use theirs every day or don't care. You know, when they go in the workplace, it's not permitted in the building or whatever. Right. So they don't carry it every day. But when you carry it maybe on the weekend, and once you put it up, talk to me and tell me. Let's be honest. We're all family. Like I said, this is a no judgment zone.
Right. Are you storing it in a locked situation? Are you sliding it under the pillow? I mean, you don't have to tell us your business in the chat.
Yeah, but we just want to know, just are you check? Just yes or no. Are you check? We got a comment?
No, just a question.
Okay.
So can you explain what is the best way to store?
Okay, yes.
And depending on the situation. So like you said, if you have your firearm on you, you're in your car, but you got to go somewhere where you can't have your firearm on you, you need to have a lockbox in your car that you can safely lock it in, because somebody breaking your car, and that happens a lot, especially in Nashville and our cousins that don't like us neighborhoods. They'll leave their doors unlocked but they'll have a gun in the console or in the glove
Yes.
compartment to avoid if somebody is
And
trying to
that's
break
a
up them
big
getting
X.
their
No,
window
don't do
broken.
that. Mhm.
They rather leave. But okay, if you're gonna do that, then don't leave your freaking gun in the car. Cousins that don't like us. Sorry.
And it's not even just the cousins don't like us. It's some of us that do it too.
Yes,
I'ma
but
need you
it's more
not
their
to.
neighborhoods. I
Mm.
have to give them credit where credit is due, since they
Mhm.
like to throw our stats out all the time. I'm in your business. But you know, there was an incident in
Mhm.
Nashville where a 12-year-old girl and her friends at an apartment complex. She's staying with grandma. They just outside bored, and they flipping handles to see if anybody's car is unlocked. She come across a gun. She take it over to the friends. They all messing with it. Accidentally goes off, kills one of the other girls, and of course they want to try to charge this girl like she an adult. They want to put murder charges on her. You know, she had to go to juvenile. Just all these things that came against her. And my thought is, and what happened to the owner of the gun? They just got a $200 fine. It started with you being an irresponsible gun owner.
Mhm.
Kids gonna be kids. I'm not saying they was right or wrong, and now
Mhm.
they have to suffer the consequences of their curiosity and lack of knowledge, and you know, just being immature and all that stuff. But when will the adults take accountability?
Right.
If you are a firearm owner, it is your job to make
Mhm.
sure that it is safe at all times, that it's locked up, stored. So proper storing, again, depends. If you're at home, they have safes and things like that. But I will say this, if that's your protection,
Mhm.
when them lights go out, when we go to La La Land and go to
Mhm.
sleep, you know, do you train opening up a lockbox and all that? Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. When I'm at home and it's night time, my thing ready. It's under the pillows. This is some wild places, but we call that staging. So there's
Mhm.
staging and storing. So
Okay.
there's people that got guns in different places of their house. Because again, if you come in my stuff and my domain, I'm gonna be at the advantage. You know what I mean? So, but those again are things that you have to train. You have to be intentional
Right.
about. You have to be safe about. If you
Mhm.
do have kids, they gotta understand the game. You know what I mean? Like, everybody has to be in on it, or you're creating an unsafe environment.
And I want to be real blunt because not everybody needs a firearm.
No.
Let's be real. So how do you help someone decide whether a firearm will protect them or put them at more risk?
I like that question. We slow walk this thing, you
Mhm.
know. So we're the gun club, and even with the real self defense, we're the basics. We
Mhm.
with the babies. You first time, we teaching you safety, responsibility, helping you with your path. Um, Even in class, we start off with the toy guns before we get to the range, because I'm trying to feel you out, because I don't know you, and we about to deal with something real dangerous
Mhm.
in a minute, in a couple of hours. So we start off with the classroom,
Mhm.
and we educate, like you said, we talk, we demonstrate. We
Mhm.
start with toy guns so people get comfortable. Now I get to see who's afraid still,
Mhm.
you know, who has that fear in them and still a little shaky. I see who's confident. I see who's too confident.
Mhm.
I see who's not paying attention. So I get to see a lot before I ever allow you to go on the range with me. Because I'll tell people in my classes, I'll be like, the most pointed me, and they all pointed me, and I'm pointing at myself, and I said, this is the most important person in the room as far as I'm concerned.
Mhm.
I'm trying to go home with the same amount of
Mhm.
holes that I came here with. And I'm trying to do the same for you.
Mhm.
I tell them I may talk to you, may sound like I'm talking to a toddler. We do at.
Mhm.
Everybody knows universally what at mean is, being stop and listen for directions. Now toddlers don't abide by that. We try to teach them, but grown folks know when you do it, it means I need your attention. I need you. So we're unapologetic about safety.
As you should be.
So again, that's how we start figuring out. Some people tell us they don't want to shoot. They not ready. And we put that out there, you know.
And I respect that, because it's no need of you faking the funk, as I call it, and be like, oh yeah, I'm ready, because you just want to be cocky in front of it because everybody else.
Yes.
I tell people, baby, if I'm in the classroom and I'm not getting something, whether we're talking gun safety, weapon safety, all of that, it could be just in the classroom doing mathematics. I'd be like, wait a minute, hold up, now I don't have it. Y'all can move on, but I need that little step, because you trying to go with the flow, it's not gonna help you or anybody else.
Right.
Let the church say amen. Stamp it.
Stamp it.
Thank you.
You know, so
I feel what you're saying.
Yeah. So always ask questions, you know, and always ask
there
questions.
Are no dumb questions, none of that. I don't care if people be like, you holding up the. I'd rather that person hold up the class with you to make sure they got it, because we don't need that person on the street not trained fully.
Yeah, not understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you something too. You don't go to one class and you join with.
Mm-hmm.
You it's a continuous learning.
Oh, I don't. I thought I was gonna go in there and I was gonna be
A
able
lot
to,
of them do. A lot of them that don't even train think they can. Those are the ones you see online wanting to show it off.
Yeah, I'm joking. It's not the movies.
The
and another thing is, we see things in movies and we think
Yes,
that's
and we
how.
learn from
No,
that.
baby.
Yes.
No, it don't
Yeah.
work like that. Like you were saying, the different styles of weapons.
Right.
Some of them kickback. I call it
Right, that
kickback. I don't even know if that's the right
recoil.
terminology, but I
we
call
know
that
we
kickback,
talk like
that
that.
power.
Yeah.
Woo!
Right. And then
That's
you
a
come
whole
to class
conversation.
and I teach you how to manage it.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if you do have that 40 cal that your daddy passed down to you, and that's what you working with, then that's what we working with, and I'm gonna teach you how to work through it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
and I tell people that, like, once you learn and understand the functions of a firearm,
Yeah.
You can deal with other firearms. You'll be more comfortable because you know what to look for. It's really not complicated. It's about learning, education, being safe, and being confident.
Yes. You definitely have to be confident.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And safety matters. So let me ask this. Where do I want to go? What red flags make someone say, I'm not ready for this? Have you seen, like,
you don't have emotional control, like
that's a good one.
You're still trying to get your emotional stability together. When I lived in Memphis, it's probably when I should have had a gun, but thank God I didn't, because I was still in pop off. Instead of trying to de-escalate, we escalate. You know how we. Well, what you trying to do then? What's up then? You come at me, I come at you. We back and forth until somebody either submits and calms down, or we go at it. So if you're still very emotional, reactive, then
instead of proactive,
maybe start with you some pepper spray. We got classes for that. You learn how to use that.
Okay, come on. Too. So you can learn how to use pepper spray.
And we have the little testers that have water. So we got people you get to spray down, show you the right motions, even explain it. We break down the science, what's going on here when you're releasing these gases and stuff, because the more you know, the more strategic you can be too. The more you know about anything you're dealing with, any weapon, you know how to take the upper hand on when to use it, how to use it.
I know you said pepper spray, but what about, do y'all do anything with tasers?
No, we don't teach that, but there are people that do.
Okay.
So, but think about things like that, like, because I know some people, I used to have a couple, and to me, those are things too you pull out and people like, oh, you give you that whoa moment, like, okay, she might be with that. But I want y'all to think about not trying to push you to a firearm side or whatever, because it all can be close contact, but it sound good, even pepper spray, but when somebody's up on you, and again, stuff happens fast, you know what I mean? So even with pepper spray, so you got to train pulling that, a lot of y'all have them with 10,000 keys on there.
Yes, baby, that's the 10,000. What about the bear pepper spray? What are your...
You better check if that's legal in your state. That bear mace, whatever that Charleston White be hitting people with. Yeah, make sure it's legal in your state. Anything, any weapon you choose. And that's the thing too, use of deadly force. We usually affiliate that with a gun, but anything too that's used when you're not justified to use it, it could have you, with your hands behind your back answering questions you don't want, that's gonna need a lawyer.
Your Miranda rights.
Man, shut up. Definitely practice your Miranda rights. Even if you ain't got an attorney, shut up.
Zip it.
Just shut up. If the police got you, shut up. I don't care what they got you for. Shut up. Don't talk. Like, please, again, mind, you have the right to remain silent. Choose it. Be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. And especially if you get into a gun situation. But again, they have self-defense insurance out here. I carry it. Different companies that, so if you are in a self-defense incident with not just a gun, but other weapons, it's expensive. A criminal defense attorney retainer is like $50,000, and I just ain't got that kind of money sitting around for that. To keep one on retainer, but you can kind of like, y'all remember that prepaid legal back in the day? It's similar to something like that. You pay monthly, and now you in a gun incident, they give you the little card that tell you shut up, don't talk to police, call me first. You got them, they gonna send an attorney down there to take care of it, because again, there's rules to this game.
Yes, it is.
There's rules to this game. So you want to equip yourself, that's why I said safety, being safe and responsible is way bigger than whatever tool you're using. It starts up here and thinking this thing through and thinking long term. So again, if you're gonna have a gun, okay, what if I do end up shooting somebody? Even if I'm justified, I'm gonna need an attorney. And just because you're justified, they're not going to provide you with one, not a good one, for free. You can get a public defender if you want to. You know what I mean? You're going to find yourself locked up.
So how do we separate legitimate self-defense from ego and retaliation?
Self-defense is more like I exhausted all my options to try to walk away from this, to try to get out of this, or it's happening too fast and my life is in danger and I got to react by any means necessary. Ego, you'll know ego a lot of times because you're going back and forth, you arguing. So you're trying to be right. You know what I mean? Instead of being, like I said, when you have deadly force on you, you're always wrong. Did I not say that?
Yeah, you did say that again. You're always wrong.
Always wrong. Okay, because if this thing escalates, you're the person. I don't know if they have a gun, but I know I do. And if this thing escalates and I got to pull this thing out, and then we got to replay what happened, and they got all these cameras.
Yep.
And when you in the heat of the moment, you think things happen one way, and then next thing you know, you reading the camera like, dang, I did run up in their face like, I'll kill you. See, in your words. They'll use them against you in court, even if it looks like self-defense. But if you started off with, man, come closer to me again, I swear to God, I'll shoot you. Well, you was already mentally ready to shoot no matter what. And you verbally said those things work against you. The stuff you post on social media, they will run it back. See, the prosecutor's job is to prosecute, right? They're not going to pick your case.
As bad as possible.
Right,
you could have did something back in 2016. And when they go through that Facebook footage of you out there being reckless and talking crazy and doing your pew 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 pews. I don't even know if that sounded right, but y'all know what I'm talking about. They gonna be using that against you. Talking about, see how eager and ready, baby, they gonna paint you like a monster.
Right.
That's why I'm here. Right. And that's why Madam President is here.
Ego, we have a saying in the gun where we say, your ego is not your amigo.
Ooh, say that again. Say that again.
Your ego is not your amigo.
Y'all better listen.
It's not.
If y'all feeling that line, stamp it in the chat, some hearts. Give us something to know y'all are feeling that, because baby, she's spitting the truth right there.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears for a minute. And I want to talk about, I believe it was, y'all don't get me wrong on these years, but I think it was 2021, back in July 2021, I think. You may know more than I know. But anyway, there was the state of Tennessee passed a permitless carry law allowing individuals 21 and older to carry a handgun openly.
Or concealed.
Or concealed. That's right. Without a permit. So what are your thoughts on that? And how do you think it affects our communities? When I say our community, the Black communities, what effect do you think that has?
So for Tennessee specifically, and you were right about that date. Good job. So there's a lot to that to unpack. It's way deeper than how it was presented. And I'll just touch a little bit. We actually pass out a little card when you come to our class that breaks down what the permitless carry is and what that means. So I feel like culturally for the Black community, I liked it because I feel like it equaled the playing field. So there weren't these, because all gun laws are racist, period, point blank. I don't care if you think they're all gun, stamp it. All gun control laws especially are racist, right? So when things like when the Black Panther Party were exercising their rights, and they was seeing brothers and sisters being pulled over, and they showed up with their rifles to make sure the police was doing what they were supposed to be doing. When they showed up on the Capitol steps with the guns and stuff, and it was lawful. You had organizations like the NRA say, well, wait a minute. Not the NRA, not the white folks that love, they right. They was like, nah, they ain't like seeing Black people exercising them rights and openly. like that. So then the more for that came about where we started some gun control stuff. So then, you know, when Martin Luther King, when Malcolm X was assassinated, when JFK was assassinated, if you go back and look at, even in your state, I know in Tennessee, it always changed the gun laws, and it always affected the poor people and the people of color, right? So, so with that, so I felt like it you know, gave us that level playing field. So you have more people to be like, okay, they got guns, you know, now instead of our young brothers especially getting caught up with guns and getting in trouble now because they didn't have a permit. Now if they're 21, you know, they meet the criteria without having that paperwork, they're still fine. If they get, you know, pulled over or whatever and they have a firearm now, it's not automatic. Now, I ain't saying they ain't gonna trip. I'm just saying.
And don't be trying to go get one from Pook in them, because you don't know what bodies or anything that may be on there. Right. I gotta say that. That's let me do my due diligence. Please be careful.
Get it lawfully.
I know sometimes you're in situations, you're a felon, which you're not supposed to have one anyway, but I'm gonna keep it real. I know how this works. You still fearing for your life or whatever activity you do. I ain't gonna act like it don't happen. It is what it is. But I want to say, keep in mind, my job on this platform is to make sure that I'm educating you and making you responsible. So just know when you got there from Pooking him and with that scratched out serial number, don't ask me how I know, because I don't know what I know, but y'all just follow what I'm saying. Wink, wink. Okay. So you got it from Pooking him out south, out north, out west, out east, you know, wherever. And they scratched out that serial number. But if it's got a body on it, when you get caught with it, you're taking that charge, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Pook out, wherever you got it from, they getting you. I just want y'all to be wise. I'm telling y'all, that's why I did this episode. I just want everybody to be safe, be wise, make smart decisions. Like I said, I get it. I know why you got it from Pook and them. Your lifestyle. Pray about that lifestyle. Get out of that. I just want to see my brothers and my sisters make it. I'm talking. This is me having real conversation, real talk with real people, with relevant conversations. That's what I do with you. I don't take this platform lightly. And I'm saying this because somebody need to go tell their cousin them. I understand it, but we got to figure out a better way.
I was going to say, choose another weapon. See what's within your rights and train with that. You might can get a bow and arrow. You know what I mean? It's some real complicated, some sharp bow and arrows. Take up archery, you know, figure out other ways, sword fighting.
Bow and arrow. You just look like
we got somebody donated.
I feel like you got one. Look, I knew it. She just gave me like she know how.
Archery was.
I know. That's why I said you probably look like you know how to use one.
But in Rutherford County, and I don't know for Davidson County, but in their school system, they're doing archery. So encourage your kids if there's you know classes like that and opportunities. We need to explore other options. Knife fighting, like I took some knife fighting classes and sword fighting, and just it's like a little dance with it. But you would never think. You know, again, being intentional, right? Like, right. There are sciences behind all of this, and you need to develop your skill set. But you know, what's the little videos game? Choose your weapon. Choose your weapon.
I gotta ask you this then: since that law passed in Tennessee, have you seen a decline in people coming to training?
So that's a great question. So they thought that was going to be the huge, especially with the permit class, that more people wouldn't. No, actually. That law didn't get less people training. The climate, especially the political climate, is what tends to push more people to start training. And I want to just touch on that a little bit because we got to stop waiting for things to happen and then say, oh, be intentional. Like, yes, I had a situation going on which got me to the gun side of things, but I was already training in self-defense. A gun was just another tool I added to my arsenal based on things that were going on in real time. So I already had a training mentality. It wasn't, you know, so I wasn't scared or nothing like that. You know, I was ready. I just wanted to, I knew what I was dealing with could be dangerous. So I wanted to, you know, get the one up. But yeah.
Now I want to go back to Pookie and I got to address this because when someone, look, y'all know who Pookie and them is. When something Pookie, Ray, Kiki, Kilolo, y'all know what I'm talking about. When someone in the circle is careless with a weapon, most people, we shy away, we look away, we don't really want to get into those interactions. How do we create systems of accountability? without breaking up relationships, without, family feuds and all that kind of stuff. And you want to tell somebody, this ain't it. But you see it. They just have some laying around. There's children walking around the home. And you like, yeah, I'm just leaving this out.
And that's coward behavior, because you're gonna feel it the most if something negligent does happen and you didn't say something. You gotta use your voice, and we gotta be unapologetic when it comes to our safety and keeping each other safe. So if I gotta check you about how you're acting with something that could potentially hurt me, and you got a problem with that, then I don't need to be around you anyway. You know what I mean? Because it's me first. It's self-preservation first.
Ooh, yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to be, that's why I say with self-defense, we talk about self-respect, self-love, self-care, self-esteem, but very seldom do we talk about self-defense. And self-defense is self-love in action. You have to have a reverence for life. So when you do that, you're not going to let somebody's carelessness stop you from making sure we're in a safe situation, because again, we go back to ego, because it's going to hurt your ego. And if your ego is bigger than our safety, then holla at you.
Yep.
We don't need you around me anyway. Or you know what? I'll do you one better. I'll leave.
So let me say this. So with youth and guns, we know that's a combustible mix, like already. So if a household owns firearms, what should be a non-negotiable that household should put in place?
A non-negotiable should definitely be that there's anybody in the house that does not know how to use this firearm. It doesn't matter how you feel. We're not dealing with feelings. We're dealing with safety. So everybody in that household, if of the proper age, and even with your kids, I'm not saying you got to show them at 3. You know your kids, and you know what they're ready for.
What their intellect,
But if you're not ready to introduce the kids to it, then you really got to be on some safety protocol stuff.
Lock boxes and things of that
right
nature.
Yeah, so non-negotiables, things like that. Like, if you're not gonna make sure the family is safe and that they know, hey, this is what happens. It's just non-negotiables too. Like, you can't not have it locked up and you're not home. You know what I mean? Because your kids show up and they got little friends. Again, we could teach them and tell them everything we want to, but it's not going to stop somebody from being nosy, and especially when it's people at your house that you ain't raising. So,
And if it does come up missing, be responsible enough to contact the police. Please, police shall say you can go, but you're going to have to, because you don't want. The reason I say that, that's gun, I told you I'm here to help y'all out, because I know what it looks like. You like, I don't even want to call them and tell you. Right. I get it, but you need
that's
to make
something
that
to
right,
think through,
because
too.
if something happens like? and that weapon is found and it registers back to you, you may not be at that crime scene, but guess what? They calling you.
Yeah. And you even got to know, I want to put this out there, and this is what training helps, because we do a lot of scenario trainings too. You got to know how to talk to 911 when you call them, not on some missing gun stuff, but if you're in a shooting incident, self-defense incident, whatever, again, remember we said your right to remain silent. You just need whoever you need to get there. You don't want to be given a whole lot of details and information over that recorded line. You feel me? So we even teach people how the aftermath is what we call it. So when you're calling 911, if I have to shoot somebody defending myself, I may tell somebody else to call 911. So I say, hey, lady with the gold earrings and the cool glasses, I need you to call 911 and tell them that this white man in this red shirt attacked the black girl in the black shirt, and that force was used, and then hang up on their ass. But even if so I'm telling you what to say, because I don't need the girl with the gold saying, man, this black girl in this black shirt just shot this white man.
Because it sounds,
you know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? So now, and then when the police are arriving on the scene, guess who got a gun on? I got my gun on me. What do? Once I know the police is coming, put your hands up. I'm not taking my firearm off of me until I know they're coming, because there might be another threat. So I don't want to give up my weapon waiting on the police, because when they show up, I don't want to have my gun on me. I'm going to have my hands up. They know somebody been shot, whatever, I'm going to be ready like that. Whatever they tell me to do next is what I do. But you want to control the situation, you know what I mean, as much as you can. So if you take command, you start telling people on the scene what to do in that situation, because this stuff is going to be brought up in court.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Like we talked about earlier, there's cameras, and then there's that witness account too.
Exactly.
Like you said, that first caller already set the tone.
There
so, and they already got that down. And they can say, but you said what? And they're going to be trying to match and piece all this together. So, yep. So let's talk about Bullets, Bread, and Bars podcast. Y'all are connecting the firearms law, money, and education and music all in one conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's not a mix. Most people would be like, that's not a, it's a different vibe. Let me say that.
Yeah.
So tell me, what inspired that intersection, and why is it so important to bring all of those elements together in that one space?
Definitely was something we went into thinking of the culture.
Okay.
So we know music, everybody listens to music, and music definitely has had its influence on us when it comes to money and when it comes to even violence, guns, weapons, even before the violence, before NWA hit the scene, and I got to put it on them. But we had the conscious music.
Right, we did.
We had that era. So you had Public Enemy, but you had Professor Griff for his time that he was there. They was up there marching with the guns and stuff, and putting that militant, look on us with this music that's telling, don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. And they were putting us up on political education, self-love, caring about yourself, things that was going on in the community, Night of the Living Baseheads, so you had these different groups that were putting this out there for us. And then it switched, and then you had gangster rap hit the scene. And then it became, conscious music kind of fell to the wayside. And then we was all gangsters.
Yep.
We was all dope dealers. We learned about prostitution with strawberries, where we learned a little too much. Right. Easy and them taught us about the streets, especially growing up on the West Coast.
Shout out to Ruthless Records.
They taught us this street game.
Right.
We learned a lot. So we took all of that and just so now we're in the gun game, but we want to change the narrative, and we like, nah, when people look at Black folks and guns, we don't want them to think gangster. We want them to think responsible firearms owners.
I like that. Yes,
because we are.
Firearms.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Black men now. Ladies, I need, I had the men scoot up, because let me tell you something now.
Come on, ladies. Come on with your goody listening ears.
Right. You single out here in these streets. Let me tell you where a lot of men be at. The range. But I'm just telling you. They there. There's a lot of trainings, and guess who signs up for the trainings? Yeah, the trainings beyond the basics. I'm telling you, there's a lot of men out there at these trainings, and guess what? They're protectors. They in the gun game. They train all the time. They believe in protecting what's theirs, and he's a good man, Savannah. Right?
Oh yes, I was with I date my security guard. I got to tell y'all about that. I went out the country with my security guard, y'all.
I'm telling you, it's a different.
Just came back.
It's a different.
Y'all
vibe.
See this glow, baby. Y'all see this glow.
Vibe, right.
Y'all see the glow since I done been back. Yes.
So so ladies, come learn the basics or whatever. But to my single ladies, it's an opportunity to shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot.
But there's a lot of good. Nice looking brothers out here that train that you might want to spend your money with. I'm just saying. So trying to put some, if y'all need some references, I got a couple brothers that do private sessions.
Okay. Y'all heard it right here. You trying to get hooked up.
Hey,
y'all know who to get
love. We about black love.
Right. And you're also part of the Middle Tennessee Black Gun Club.
Absolutely.
An organization rooted in empowerment, safety, and community. Yes. I saw y'all launch a pledge in 2020. What this year? 2025. This year. I was gonna say, Lord, I don't know what year I thought I was in. I was like, wait a minute, that's this year. To train, aiming to equip 2,025 Black men and women with handgun and self-defense training.
Yes.
Baby, I was like, wait a minute, that's a lot of people. And
That
that's a
is.
serious commitment to put on y'all shoulders.
Yes.
So can you break that down? What was the heart and the reasoning behind that?
So November, before November
Mm-hmm.
last year, so we know what took place election time.
Yes.
So before that, we already knew, what we had
Mm-hmm.
facing us. And a lot of times we get caught up in that
Mm-hmm.
hype instead of preparing.
Mm-hmm.
So we was like, we gonna hit these classes. 2025 January, we was having like 3 classes a month. We
Mm-hmm.
were gonna try to train as many black people as we could in being responsible gun owners, gun safety, and starting their training journey. And not just guns, but stop the bleed, pepper spray, martial arts, just whatever. We just wanted to encourage
Mm-hmm.
people. So we had them take this pledge to train. But of course, 2,025 people, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of
And we don't have
people.
a lot of people in the club. But other instructors across the nation and
Okay.
other type of trainers and people have joined the pledge
Mm.
all across, not just the nation, the world. Like we got some people in Africa that signed in different countries in
Mm.
Africa.
Oh, I
So
like
again,
that.
it's just building the awareness and saying, yo, we got to keep trying to trust. In
Mhm.
2026, guess what? We adding one more. We
Oh.
want to get 2026
Okay, come on. I love
black
it.
people
I
trained.
love it.
And we're going to keep pushing that because it has to be intentional. We love a good
Mm-hmm.
movement. And it was a way that we felt like we could try to bring people together, get out in the community. Because we're about to get on these campuses,
Mm-hmm.
starting with these HBCU. We did some stuff with FISC before it got in front of some of those students. But moving forward, we did some at MTSU.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole community defense project is what we have
I
right
like
now.
that.
So, how can we as a
Mm-hmm.
community train together, protect each other,
Mm-hmm.
police ourselves,
Sales.
as you
Mm-hmm.
said, so we don't have to have them coming in and, getting all
Numbers.
hysterical and trying to deal with our issues.
Mm-hmm.
How do we learn to deal with our own?
I want you to speak straight to the people right now, watching. No excuses, no sugarcoating. What's the one truth about how we are failing to police? That's a good segue. Failing to police ourselves the most. Like, why are we failing to police ourselves the most? How do we fix it before our choices lead to someone's tragedy, funeral, or someone behind bars? Speak to the people.
Um, we have to build trust again with
Mm-hmm.
amongst each other.
Yes.
Black people, we've had a million reasons
Mm-hmm.
to not trust anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Again, we're dealing with a lot of trauma.
Yes.
So we have a lot of trust issues that we have to heal. And and we talking about big areas. We talking about molestation.
Yes.
We talking about fatherless homes.
Mm-hmm.
We talking about addiction, violence, abuse, so there's a lot of things that have caused us to not even trust each other. So families can't even trust each other. Husband and wife, don't even trust each other. Kids don't feel safe or feel like they can trust their own parents. So when it's already broken in the family, how do we get to community?
Right.
Because that's a collection of families, you know what I mean? That's going to look out for each other. So until we heal the family, but if we take it to that
self, mm-hmm.
We're just learning again knowledge of self. What does that even mean?
Mm-hmm.
Self-love, how to care, how to be. You gotta be selfish sometimes, you know what I mean, especially while you're healing, so you gotta be good to yourself so you can be good to others. Or it's just a void you're trying to fill. You know what I mean? It's not even real. So, that trust piece, man, once we can trust ourselves again, then trust our loved ones, then we can begin to trust our community. But we got a long ways to go. But I'm just want to say, don't quit and don't give up on each other.
Yes.
Especially right now, like never, but like right now for real, there's a lot going on around us and there's a lot stacked up against us and it's back in our face. See, a lot of us get comfortable and we get rocked to sleep because stuff is not in our face, but it's still happening behind the scenes. And we've always been under attack. It's always been a war going on, whether you choose to, accept it or not, we are under fire. And like right now, it is in your face. Like it is in your face. Wig and friends are not playing with us. As dumb and goofy as he may sound and things, like he is doing real things. This administration, this government, there are real things happening that are going to affect us long term. That you'll find yourself trying to survive out here, and you're not going to be prepared. And again, back to that, we don't have that trust, so we'll start turning on each other before we even turn on our enemy. And that's what their plan is. So we gotta stick together, and we gotta again have that reverence for life. Like, life has to mean something.
Yes.
But if you're not storing food and storing clean water and learning how to make sure, if the power is out for a long periods of time, if you and your family have not discussed, where y'all gonna meet up at, or
Survival
where
plan.
things are, right? Like, you're gonna find yourself out here. You see them shows like zombie apocalypse and things. And when a person is desperate and they're hungry, and especially when their family is involved, they will attack you. People that look like you will come for you. People that know you, that know you're prepared. So again, like, let's just keep it a buck right now. Are you prepared to kill somebody to protect your food, even if that person look like you? Are you prepared to be selfish and have to choose your family first because shit has hit, it has hit the fan, and you can't get to the grocery store, your debit cards don't work, you don't have access to resources that you're used to having access to, and you're prepared, and now your neighbor looking at you with his lips, licking his lips, and the other neighbor looking at you too, because they know, or they assume. And there are people that are bold enough and they're ready to do whatever to
attack
survive.
You for your stuff, because it's survival.
Yeah, it's survival.
It's win or die situation.
Man, and it's like, again, mindset. Are you prepared for these type of situation? And this is not fear mongering. This is not, we said that with our pleasure train. Yes. Fear didn't bring us here.
No.
That's why you got to want to train when it's peaceful. You know what I mean? When it seems like it's peaceful, you got to be ready to train when the enemy is quiet. Not when he's in your face. That ain't time to train. That's time to fight. When he in your face, see, there's a time and a season, right? And a lot of us, we way out of season because we're not prepared. And people like me that you might think is prepared, I tell everybody, these bullets for me and my kids. I'm gonna shoot you first and ask questions later. Like, I ain't even gonna ask no questions, I'm gonna be honest. Like, when it comes to this survival, and and it's coming to food and water and shelter and things like that, I'm choosing me and my family.
Which makes sense. Well, y'all, let's give a hand clap in the chat,
like,
baby.
From nice to I kill all you.
Thank you so much for coming through. Y'all stay right here because we're not done.
Yeah.
Sharing your insight, dropping the truth. Now tell the people where they can find you, where they can sign up for classes and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. Best place, you can just Google Middle Tennessee Black Gun Club, and it's gonna bring up all our pages, our website. Our website is where you can definitely get signed up for class. Our Facebook, Instagram is where you can learn more about us. I do have my Surreal Self-Defense for the ladies, Protecting My Pretty Academy on Instagram is where you'll find that. But again, the gun club, you can reach me there for your self-defense needs.
All righty, y'all, reach out to her. Make sure you're following her on those social sites to keep up, and stamp it, baby. Right. We're going to give another shout out to our sponsor, the Closet Experience Boutique, your destination for style and fashion that commands the spotlight, baby. Use code PODCAST, that's PODCAST, at checkout to get 10% off your order. TheClosetExperience.com. What's in your closet? Let's do a little real talk. Y'all know we gotta do this real talk segment. All right, y'all, let's get into this real talk. Today was heavy but necessary. Madam President over here reminded us self-defense isn't ego or bravado, it's survival and protecting the lives we love. The biggest takeaway: policing yourself starts at the home, y'all, baby, at the house, people. Every choice, how we handle weapons, who we let in our space, what we teach our kids, ripples through our community. Negligence isn't small. It can cost a life. It can cost you your freedom. or leave a family devastated. Listen to land. Here's the challenge. Look at your choices, your habits, your blind spots, because we be having those blinders. Are you really policing yourself or waiting for tragedy to teach you? Woo, baby, did y'all hear me? Are you waiting for tragedy to teach you? Own your power. Protect your life. No excuses, no sugarcoating, just action. This isn't just a podcast. It's a whole movement, a safe space, a healing zone, and I want you in the room every single time we go live. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the I Am Qiana Skills YouTube channel. And family, we're not done yet. Please stay tuned for the TikTok. What did I say? The TikTok, girl, Lord. What is the name of it? Talk. I'm sorry, y'all. It's a new segment. I forgot the name.
Hey,
look.
Just get over that TikTok.
Yes, come on over to TikTok. So we got about 10 to 15 minutes. We're going to answer all your comments. If you have any questions for Madam President, something that we didn't address and you have concerns, she got you, I got you. So don't go anywhere. Get on over there on TikTok. And just like I said, you can always catch the replay on YouTube. It's where it's going to live. All right, y'all. See y'all over on TikTok.
Bye.
TikTok. Girl, I forgot the name of the TikTok talk.
TikTok talk.
Yeah, I gotta remember it.
TTT.
Yeah, Triple T.